What happens if you're not truthful at your naturalization interview? I'm Erick Widman. I'm an immigration lawyer. And if you're applying to naturalize, you have to be completely truthful throughout the entire process. From the very beginning with your N-400 application, you have to submit all information, write it down under penalty of perjury. So that means that lying under penalty of perjury is basically a crime. And so you could get into big trouble simply by omitting information or misstating information right from the beginning with your application. At your naturalization interview, you're also going to be asked questions, again, under penalty of perjury. And the adjudicating officer at your interview will ask you to stand, raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth? And you say, I do. He is therefore placing you under oath. And any falsehoods, any lies are also therefore a crime under penalty of perjury. So the consequences are serious, and you should, from the very beginning, be prepared to be completely truthful. And remember that if you're embarrassed about something, the so-called cover-up is worse potentially than the crime itself. So if you were convicted of something or you committed a bad act of some kind that you're embarrassed about, do the work up front to ensure that you're outside the good moral character statutory period, and that what happened in the past is not going to be a long-term bar to citizenship. And then be completely truthful out of that state of confidence that you are eligible to naturalize and that you have learned from your mistakes and you can freely admit what happened in the past. It's also a very good idea to do a Freedom of Information Act request, a FOIA, which are free with USCIS, CBP if you have a border question or issue, or the US Department of State if you're concerned about a visa denial or something related to a visa application in the past. That way you can confirm what exactly happened and make sure that you're being truthful on the N-400 and at your interview. Because you should assume the US government, your USCIS officer, knows about exactly what happened because they're running a background check themselves. They're taking your fingerprints through the biometrics requirement, through that appointment, so that they run a full background check on your criminal history, your address, your employment, so that they know for certain what your full history is. Therefore, you should also be confident that what you're saying is the truth, and you could even correct them if some of the information was wrong in the past. You can correct them at the interview if you have proof of that. So FOIA requests are a good idea, and they are free. Just take your time. So in addition to the interview and being entirely truthful there, you also have to, through the very end of the process, make sure that you're completely up to date with truthful information through the oath ceremony. And the oath ceremony, prior to that, you have to complete a piece of paper that says, I have not been arrested. In addition to what's happened since the interview, I have turned in my green card to you. So throughout the entire process, they are mandating that you be truthful, and it's done under penalty of perjury. At your interview, they're asking you these questions, even though they know the answer to them, because they're not doing you any favors. They're going to get you in trouble for lying, for perjury, because they already know the bad thing that happened, and they want to see if you lie about it. So again, if it's outside the statutory period, you're going to be much better off, of course, telling the truth. You must tell the truth. You also will be given a bit of grace. The USCIS officers are instructed to take into account your educational background, your English level. And so in terms of a perjury determination, they need to make sure that you understand what all these potentially complex words mean, like bigamy or espionage. And so the USCIS policy manual says, factor that in when an officer is determining if someone is speaking the truth or not. All of these factors should spur you on to make sure you're being truthful from the N400 stage in the very beginning, all the way through to the end, from application all the way to the end of the oath ceremony. It is definitely worth it, and your citizenship depends upon it. Let us know if you have any questions, and take care.